Welcome to Joa Fitness Health Wellness Video Podcast, a space to ignite your day through positive conversations. We bring people that have created excellence in their life, sharing high vibration in their reawakening path.
Hello, my friends. My name is Joa Rivas, and I wanted to welcome you. Today is Friday. Super excited for another week sharing information about posture. And I actually bring these topics because I had scoliosis when I was 15 years old. And it was a 10 years journey going through therapies and a lot of self-learning, relearning, retraining my brain and my body to be able to understand what was happening to my physiology. And beyond that, what was happening to my brain? So today we are with the last episode with Dr. Vincenzo Romualdi. He has been with us for the past 3 weeks. So if you're actually curious about our last topics, you can always come back into the sciatica topic. We had chats about how he treats everyone on a holistic level as a chiropractor and kinesiologist. Vincenzo Romualdi, if this is the first time that you are in our podcast, he is actually in the city of Toronto. And he has been practicing not only physiology or approach to the body through chiropractic practices, but actually through emotional connection, which is something that I really love when a practitioner can have that intelligence to put together practices that can be a little deeper, and it can create actually a lifestyle and not a band-aid on the pain. So, well, first of all, thank you so much, Dr. Vincenzo, to actually invest your time sharing your knowledge with us. How are you today, Vincenzo?
Good, Joa. Thank you. How are you?
Yes, exciting. I'm actually in Texas today, and that's why you don't see me on the regular studio where I record my videos. But I try to keep the consistency on my goals, which is always to bring information to my audience, to my friends, to my clients, students. So I keep it as it is. And I'm here from Texas making the video with Vincenzo. So I'm excited. Texas is actually the first time I've been in Austin, a beautiful city. The weather is actually really hot. I never expected it to be so hot. So loving the city. People are really waking up in this city. It seems like there is a lot of like-minded people searching into the why they're here in the earth, and also like how can they connect into the community. So I have great connections so far, meeting and empowering the community of Texas. So very, very, very fun. And basically that's pretty much it, and trying to get my posture always in a proper optimal condition, even when I travel, because you know when you travel and you are in a long flight, it was about 6 hours flight from Toronto to Texas, my back usually gets a little bit discomfort, so I like to take breaks. And actually I traveled with the Toronto soccer team. That was actually awesome. The people next to me was actually players from the Toronto soccer fire, the team from Toronto, so I got to talk to them, and we talked about injuries. Actually, I was telling them, how are you able to practice so many hours a day and keep up with those injuries? Actually, one of the players was next to me. He told me he had an Achilles tendon injury that was affecting his last season. So we actually were talking about physiotherapy, back pain, a lot of back pain I could hear from the players. So it was actually a really awesome trip to be able to talk to the players from the Toronto soccer team. They actually are now in Texas in a tournament with Europe. So they had a Manchester game and they actually won against the Manchester soccer team. So I guess it was awesome. And we had good luck on that first game. And it's actually about 2 weeks of games. And it was actually a really cool trip. And I'm here now. Actually, I met everyone and I was talking about posture with everybody because it seems like everybody kind of feels this from me. Even the officials that were getting into the costumes, they asked me like, I see you travel a lot. What do you do? And then I tell them, I help people to improve their posture. And the official is like, really? I need it. I'm here standing for so many hours. Like, what can I do? Then I saw him actually right away. His hip was leaning to one side. And then I told him right away, well, perhaps try to bring your feet more stable instead of just bringing your hips to one side. That's going to create a little bit of imbalance. And then, yeah, we had a conversation. It was really fun. I was like, wow, this is so fun to travel with your purpose. People can feel it. You can create connections everywhere, even in the airport with the office customers from US. So it was fun anyways, Vincenzo. And what about you? Like, do you have a fun week? Any news, any type of updates of the year?
Yeah, I had a great week and I got some great news that I unfortunately can't share just yet because I haven't told anyone about it.
Okay, well, you know what? We are always curious about what's happening with all our guests. Many guests are moving to other cities. Many guests are getting their practices into a bigger level. They're bringing new team players. So actually, I wish you the best in anything that you are this year starting. It seems like 2022 is opening opportunities to all the professionals that are actually really working deeply. We're planting seeds, and this year it seems we're getting the fruits from all our work. So awesome, my friends. So, well, look, this is about a long intro. I wanted to just make everyone feel comfortable, so you know that we are human like anyone, and we just here sharing who we are and how awesome and how fun life is when you actually do what you love. But today we actually want to talk about our last topic, which Vincenzo and I, we can talk about so many topics related to posture. Posture actually is it's critical for our body because our posture will determine how we feel. As you know, if you're hunched over, you may feel a little depressed or sad. Sometimes when we feel sad, we definitely hunch and we kind of like very introspective. So we just lose our posture. Physical pain is connected to our mental health. And today we actually want to talk about the brain-body connection, which we have been always touching this point, but actually today we'll be going deeply into the brain-body connection, and it's something that it will actually shifted your perspective about posture. That is not only a physiology issue that because you have scoliosis, because you have sciatica, it goes beyond that. Like what could be the underlying issue? It could be something related to a neuropathway that is interrupted in your brain, and how can we actually stimulate our body. So tell us a little bit about, Vincenzo, how you do your practice related to brain-body connection, any type of easy way to explain to people, right? You don't want to go super academic in this. Just remember, we're talking to everyone from a kid of 10 perhaps to elder. So tell us very simple, like what is the connection between our brain and our body?
So simply put, your brain is the master control system of your entire body, and it communicates to your body through your nervous system. And the main highway of your nervous system is your spinal cord. Now, just like your brain is protected by your skull, your spinal cord is protected by your spinal column. And your spinal column is made up of 24 wonderful movable vertebrae. And these vertebrae have, throughout your life, experienced and adapted to the stress in your life. Now, in chiropractic philosophy, like we talked about in the first interview, was there's 3 T's that refer to the stresses in your life, being toxins, traumas, and thoughts. Now, these stresses, when applied to your system, can manifest physically in the form of bad posture, in the form of sciatica over time, especially with repetitive stresses or toxins or thoughts that are not serving you, and your body's adapting to the stress instead of the stress adapting to your body. So what happens is we get interferences between this brain and body connection because these joints are either misaligned or the muscles around the joints are not working as properly. So what we do as chiropractors is we use different diagnostic tools. We use different tests to see exactly where these interferences are. In chiropractic, we call them vertebral subluxations. Vertebral referring to the spine, subluxations referring to a joint that's not moving properly, and we correct them over time. Now, your body's a creature of habit. So when you go see a chiropractor and they adjust one segment, let's say the segment's rotated to your right of your spine, and we adjust it to come back to the left, come back to the middle, that's great. And the effects of that adjustment lasts anywhere from 48 to 72 hours. But like I said before, your body is a creature of habit. So over time, your body will go back to what it knows. And what it knows right now is the position it's been in for quite some time due to the stresses that your body's been through. So it's important to know that this brain-body connection can be optimized through chiropractic care by, again, like we talked before, breaking down the habits of your spine to make room for a new habit. So your spine is functioning optimally, your spine is functioning at its best. So the brain-body connection is functioning at its best. And I really want people to understand that the brain-body connection doesn't only affect your pain and your posture and what you feel and the muscles you control and that you think about, but more so and more importantly, subconsciously, what these nerves control, what happens in the background, like your heart beating, your if you get a cut, it healing on its own, your digestive tract and the food you eat and that getting turned into nutrients for your body. And when you breathe in, you get oxygen and the lungs automatically take that oxygen and send it to the tissues through your cardiovascular system. This all happens without you telling your body to do it. It does it on its own in the background. And so when you have a better brain to body connection, you're able to function not just better in what you can feel, but also better in all aspects of your life and how your body and organs function as well.
And actually today, like you were saying, that we are not only connected to our brain to send signals to our body to move through our motor unit signals, but actually movement and academics are really connected. As you know, we develop our synapses connections on our brain. And I teach yoga and Pilates for over almost 12 years at this point. And one of the discoveries that I really love about practicing yoga was to stimulate my frontal lobe, which very interesting. I was reading, I know guys, you're gonna hate me on this, but I always think about why guys, men, I'm a woman, I'm 37, and I have, I dated people, and sometimes as a woman, we're like, why guys, they feel so immature. And like woman, like you can see woman dating men, they are like 40 and the man is 30 and the man feels like he's super young. And sometimes the man is 40, still like, well, you feel so immature. And it's actually, I was reading about these studies that shows that the frontal lobe of a man, it takes longer to be developed than the woman. And that takes the man, it takes longer to take decisions that are actually good for them. So, I mean, very interestingly, physiologically, the man takes a little longer time to grow fully the frontal lobe, so it's easier for them to take decisions. And I was coming back to the yoga. When you practice yoga and you actually really conscious about your breathing, you activate the middle part of your brain, right in the middle of your eyebrows, where they say there is a third eye, if you want to call it like this, but it's actually frontal lobe is right there, which is where we are generating the drive and the motivation to take action. Those people that have issues with depression and anxiety, they don't have that area is smaller than regular. So how can you actually stimulate the middle, that frontal lobe on your brain? Breathing is actually very powerful for this. Practicing breathing and bringing all the attention into this area between your eyebrows is very important. And there is definitely a connection between movement and academics. And this starts on the cerebellum. And it's really interesting if you can actually take us a little bit deeper into the connection between how our brain can not only help us to get our motor units aligned, but also how we can improve our concentration and our memory retention and our actions to be able to not only move freely, but also be able to move accordingly to what we desire to accomplish in our life.
Well, yeah, you mentioned balance. And in terms of balance, there's actually a study done out of New Zealand where they tested reaction time, fall reaction time in elderly. And they found that they had one control group that was not adjusted, and they did some tests to see how quick they could react to a light. So they were standing on a platform and they had two lights in front of both of their feet and two lights that would pop up on the sides of their feet. And the test they did, all the participants of the study did initially, was to see how fast they could react to the light, because majority of falls occur because people cannot take micro steps, cannot take small steps to catch themselves as they're falling. So what they found was they had two groups. They had one group who did not get adjusted for 12 weeks and another group that did get adjusted for 12 weeks. And after the 12-week period, they found that the geriatric patient group that got adjusted for 12 weeks, they were able to react faster to the light, which told them that they were able to react faster if they were to experience an episode of falling. And as you know, in the geriatric population, falling is a very detrimental thing to their risk of risk of falling can lead to serious things in geriatric patients, especially those who experience osteoporosis. But so what they found was that chiropractic care, even geriatric patients, helped with balance, helped restore their brain to body connection enough for them to react fast enough to catch themselves when they lost their balance. So really interesting stuff there.
This is related to the balance, which also could be related to those people that are actually managing the forces of gravity, right? Because the posture, you could have a static posture when you're just standing, and then you also have the dynamic posture about how you walk in. Are you actually, like one of my previous guests, are you walking in flow? Are you actually be able to like walk like you dance, as natural as possible? And this happens when your brain is properly stimulated. As I actually just finished last year the Posture Pro certification by the Posture Pro school in Montreal. They teach us a lot about how the stimulation on the plant of the feet and on your eyes create a critical point to improve your posture. And as you see, when we're babies, like all the babies, we have like about 5 primitive reflexes that we learn. And that's what help us to stand up, is to stand upright. So one of the ways, really interesting way that I'm actually applying now in my practice, it goes beyond a physiology or manipulation or anything. It's actually, it goes into a stimulation of the plant of the feet with a fork. You take a fork and you just, how do you say, you just kind of like little tickles on the feet with the fork. This will stimulate that primitive reflex on the plant of your feet. The plant of the feet are very important for us to send proprioception stimulation in our brain. And this will help you to stay upright. Can you imagine this, Vincenzo?
Yeah, for sure. Well, your feet are more times than none what is in contact with the floor. So it's very important to have a good sensation or feeling so your body can experience proprioception and have a good sense of where your body is in space.
In the space.
So not only do you do that with your eyes, but you do that with the sensation of your feet as well.
Exactly. It's really interesting, this one. The other one is, for those, I know many of my clients and friends, they do have ADHD, or their kids, they have ADHD. There is actually studies, I was researching before our talk about it, because I want to actually bring juicy and really specific content related to studies. There is a study related to people that are critical, like they are clinical diagnosed with ADHD, and how ADHD and the frontal lobe is related. They have been doing studies that people that can manage better the stress and people that have personality disorders have a smaller frontal lobe than those that don't. So really interesting. How can we stimulate frontal lobe? I think this will be one of the most important keys for this topic together. Can you please tell us how to stimulate our frontal lobe?
That's a great question. I haven't done too much research in the topic. What I'm more specialized in is the connection between the brain and the body, whether the brain is stimulating the frontal lobe or communicating from the frontal lobe. There's obviously, the brain is the most complex structure known to man. We know more about the ocean and space than we do about the brain. So I don't really know how to comment on how to stimulate the frontal lobe per se, but in terms of making sure that the body and brain is communicating efficiently, that I can talk about.
Of course, yeah. You know what? I like you are very honest. I hate when people start making up answers and they don't know, which is good, guys. This is a completely spontaneous talk that I have with my guest. And that's actually, I love that you're so honest. I know sometimes even me, when they ask me questions, I'm like, oh goodness, I don't know what to say here, but it's true, right? Like if you really focus in different methods, can you please tell us about how we can easily stimulate the brain-body connection with particularly exercises that we typically don't do?
Yeah, so you mentioned posture quite a lot, and it's a big thing about what you want to tell your audience. And so posture, you really need to think about posture as posture for you, because everyone is made different. Everyone has gone through different environmental stresses. Everyone has gone through different physical stresses. So everyone's posture is different. So what may work for one person may not work for another. When you were born, or even in the womb, you assumed a fetal posture, and this helps to form the curve in your middle of your back. And then after you're born, you're spending a lot of time on your tummy looking up before you learn to crawl, and this helps to form the curve in your neck. So your spine actually has three natural flowing curves that allows the spine to act kind of like a spring for shock absorption, but it also helps to protect what's underneath the spine, which is your nervous system. So in terms of posture, you have to find what baseline normal is for you, where you're at, and what you're comfortable experiencing, because everyone's going to experience their posture journey differently. Everyone's going to feel different things. Everyone's going to be able to move in different directions. You have to tackle posture based on what you're made of and what stresses your body has gone through and how it adapted.
Yeah, we all have different
very important to
lifestyle, and we all have different backgrounds and genetics too. Like my mom has an spinal issue since she's a little girl, and same like me. I think genetically we're not that blessed with the back. We already come with that issue, but that doesn't take away that we can create the habits that can help us to manage. And in terms of the frontal lobe, I actually had an amazing friend. Unfortunately, he passed away when he was 44. He was a professor from the University of Toronto, Dr. Sheldon. Dr. Sheldon was an expert in neuroplasticity. And somehow we created this very close link. He was like a mentor to me. And I really, really miss him because he always made me feel that all what I have in my mind is possible. And I really send a shout out to Dr. Sheldon in heaven, where he probably is. He actually brought me to his neuroplasticity classes at the University of Toronto, and I used to teach meditation to the students because it was interesting. He's like, yo, I know so much about brain. And like you say, brain is such a deep topic that is very hard to actually know everything, but I know meditation is so good. So he actually invited me to be a listener of his classes. So I learned so much. It was so fun. Like his classes were so intense with the content, but he made everything so fun. And then at the end of each class, I used to give meditation for 10 minutes to the students. And that was like such a great experience I had with Dr. Sheldon. And I remember that he told me that a great way to stimulate the frontal lobe beyond the meditation, any type of mindfulness practice, could be contemplation, like looking at a light of a candle. It could be simply taking a forest walk where you just walk around nature and you just like release the cortisol by connecting to nature. One of the ways for all our listeners now is like playing puzzles. When you play puzzles, you are bringing the attention into only one activity that is very relaxing. Even crochet for the woman or even men. I've been reading a lot about the benefits of just simply doing crochet, right? So there, art, painting. So anything that really relaxes your sympathetic, just relaxes you, and it connects you more into the creative part of your brain. So that's kind of something, probably even dancing. I'm not sure if dancing stimulates your frontal lobe, but it stimulates my dopamine for sure. I'm super happy when I'm dancing. And Vincenzo, when he's singing, he's a great singer. Vincenzo, thank you so much. You are one of the most holistic chiropractors that I have actually invited to the show. So thank you so much for sharing all your knowledge with us and simple ways and tools to be better and move better and learn better, right? So reading, very important. Remember, all leaders are readers. So do you have any specific book that you recommend us to read about brain-body connection?
There's actually one by Heidi Havoc.
Okay.
And the name of the book is escaping me at the moment. But Heidi Havoc, she's a researcher. If you just Google her name,
Okay.
Heidi Havoc is Havvik, and she has a great book, and it breaks down not only the philosophy of chiropractic, but the research and the science behind it as well. And it's a very great topic to delve into.
Okay. So, okay, let's see. And that's related to the brain-body connection.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes, nice, nice. For those that want to learn more about breath work, I will suggest you to get this book, super easy to remember. The name is called Breath, and it's by James Nestor. It's about 300 pages. It's not like a huge book. It's just like, it may take you maybe 2 weeks. It should take about 10 pages to read a day. So that's another easy book to read.
The book is called The Reality Check, a quest to understand chiropractic from the inside out. And it talks a lot about the brain-body connection for sure.
Great. Awesome. Awesome stuff. Well, I hope you guys enjoy this topic as much as we did. If you have anything to comment, if you have kids that are actually diagnosed, I know it's a label. Sometimes we just label it in our head, and we kind of think that it's no solution for this. As an ADHD or any type of mental difficulty or disability, we welcome you to experience different practices, especially to stimulate your frontal lobe. Perhaps for those having challenges to connect to your brain, dancing and music. I do sound healing every full moon. Sound healing is also a great therapy that it creates this high vibration in the body that is a universal vibration. You don't need to speak a language to be able to feel the music through your bones and connect to your breath. So if you're actually very curious about the sound healing, I teach sound healing, full moon meditation to create a sankalpa, an statement of commitment. And this happens in Toronto in the 643 Yonge Street in the Clubhouse, which is an amazing house. If you feel lonely, my friends, if you feel, I learned something new. I'm going to share this very quick before I go. If you feel hard, basically H is hungry, A is angry, L is lonely, and T is tired. So it's hot. That's very cool acronym. So if you ever feel hungry, angry, lonely, or tired, think about and ask yourself, how can I find balance? Perhaps do the activity that you love the most. You may love dancing. You may love playing an instrument. You may love take a walk, call your mother, call your best friend. But remember, there's always going to be an easy way, an easy solution to retrain your brain, your body. The more you do, the more it becomes part of you. So that's something that I wanted to actually remind you. Yesterday I had a dinner and one friend told me about those acronyms of HALC and how to retrain your body and ask yourself and be acknowledged when your body is actually not in flow or in tune with your true purpose. So I hope to see you guys on the next full moon class. It's actually happening on Saturday, April 16. The class is usually about 30 to 40 people. We have a musician playing the singing bowls, Tibetan bowls. I am guiding you with the Yoga Nidra, which is a self-hypnosis where we go dive deep into the 6 phases of Yoga Nidra, going from body awareness, body rotation, contrast of emotions, and then we go deep into a sankalpa and statement. So it's an awesome class. I hope to see you guys there. Vincenzo, I hope to see you in the spa. I met Vincenzo actually in a heat and cold exposure spa. Awesome community. It's called Othership. We have Othership, we have Inward, so you have 2 choices. Amazing community. If you are actually feeling lonely, my friends, if you feel tired, if you feel angry, you feel hungry, come to this community. You're going to release these emotions by simply learning how to breathe on heat, on cold. Not easy. I see myself, my biggest challenge is to breathe on the heat. I actually get anxious on the heat. It's like, I need to go, I'm going to burn out. So very funny. It's very weird. It's like I'm gonna become a chicken, a roasted chicken. So I'm teaching myself to breathe better on the heat. And what about you, Vincenzo? Do you challenge yourself more where, in the heat or in the cold?
I definitely challenge myself more in the cold. The heat took maybe a couple sessions to get used to, but every single time I'm challenging myself with a cold. I actually started to start my cold with a complete plunge, so going fully underwater and then coming back up so the water is just up to my ears and everything else is underneath. And then at the end, going fully under again for about 15 seconds. So it's been really intense, but I've been feeling amazing. And it's great for your immune system. It boosts your white blood cells by 50%. And it's great for your nervous system and your longevity and decreasing risks of so many diseases. It's amazing for you.
Yeah, stimulate your vagus nerve.
Yep.
It's amazing, especially for the breath work. We just talk and we are sharing so much about breath work. If you really never have thought about the power of your breath, if you go to the cold exposure, you will be completely dancing with your breath. It's like, wow, it's me in my breath. That's all what matters now. So
Yeah.
thank you so much, Vincenzo. You've been
Thank you
awesome.
so much for having me.
More talks together. I learned so much from you. I know a little deeper more of who you are and where you're going. I love what you do. And remember, here you are part of this community. Anytime you want to come back to our show, you're always welcome. I can't wait to see you in the other cheap spa, my friend. So I'm gonna write all the notes in the chat notebook. And if you have any questions, any comments, please send it to us. We love that together we are stronger. Thank you so much, my friends. Thank you.
We invite you to subscribe to this channel and share with your community. Please leave comments below, and if you like the episode, click the like button. Have a beautiful day.